All right, so now we're going to start with TCG Player API. APIs, I think, are the way to go for most people who are learning to code. Ideally, if you can get to an API position, that's optimal. Obviously, there are more advanced things depending on what you want to do, but APIs are a really good starting point. They give you a lot more consistency and robustness in your code. But they do have some limitations, which I won't go through here today, but they're pretty cool. And we definitely like running off APIs. So we're going to show you how to connect into one called TCG Player. So let's start there. I will just let you know that there are some sensitive bits in here. So I have just created another file that will allow me to access some of that information. So for example, the API secret, the client ID and the secret ID, client secret, that is stored somewhere else, and they're the ones that I use for my account. You can just go to TCG Player and get your own. It does take a little bit of time, but like maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but you will be able to get one. So I'm just going to call this TCG Player, and then I will, I'm just going to move this over here. I'm going to copy in a file called environmental variables. Cool. I'll move this back. So now I've got a file called environmental variables. I will be importing that. So we'll be importing environmental variables and requests, and I will have this up here. We'll probably actually just put it in the auth token. So this is my client ID and client secret. You can obviously hard code these if you wanted to, like that, whatever they ended up being. But we're just grabbing it from a different file at this point. And then this is generally how you connect into APIs. So you have a header file, and in here you can add a whole bunch of different things. This is the standard thing that most people add. Then you can pass through some data. So in this situation, we're passing through the client ID. ID. And the client secret. And now we're just gonna hit the requests library, and we're just gonna do a post. So I'll copy the URL and that. So it's api.tcgplayer.com/token, and this is how you get a token from TCG Player, and actually a lot of people do it this way. And once you have that, then you can pass what it returns as an access token, and which is this thing here, and you can use that to actually do perform activities on the API. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go TCG Player pricing. We're going to get pricing from them. So we pass through the token, and we pass through the product ID that we want to grab, and then the header file in this situation is actually the bearer token, so the access token that we got over here. And then we go requests.get, and this is where we're going to actually get the prices. So API tcgplayer.com/pricing/product, and then you put your product ID in here, and then there are probably some more variables that we need to get. So headers equal header, and we don't actually have to pass any params, so we can leave it blank. or for you guys, this is kind of what it might look like. And if you did have an event where you needed to pass params, you could pass it in through here. So we're just going to return that, and we just want to return the results. We don't need all the paging and anything like that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of iterate through. We're going to create a function that will call this this function here, but we're going to return a list of the prices from low, mid, high, and market. They're the three options. The first three, low, mid, and high, are what sellers are currently selling on TCG Player for, and the market is historic sold prices. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know if it's an average of the last 3 or 5, or if it's just the last one or in the last day. But I like to think the market is what people are willing to pay, because it's quite a nice fine line between what sellers were willing to sell for and what buyers are willing to buy at. So we'll just call that TCG Player prices by subtype. So here we pass through the product ID, subtype name, and the auth token. I'm sure you can get some more consistency in your naming, but for now this is what we've got. So we'll call the pricing that we did earlier, auth token, and product ID, and then we go for SKU price in SKU prices. Sorry, we'll call that SKU prices. So we're just going to iterate through all of these SKUs, and we're going to try find the ones that match a particular SKU subtype name. So the subtype names are like rainbow foil, regular, cold foil, first edition, things like that. So all the different variants effectively of a particular product. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go, let's print out the low, mid, high, and market prices for all of these. The sad thing is we don't actually or I wasn't able to find inventory in TCG Player. If you guys have coded with TCG Player before and you can find inventory, let me know how we can get it, and we can try that. And everything is in USD, so we're just going to hard code that. Price, I missed price, so that's SKU price. SKU price. So that's low, and then we're just going to do a bunch of these. 3, 4. So we're going to do one for mid, and the only difference here is that we're going to grab the mid price. We're going to do the same thing for high. I'm going to grab the high price, and then we're going to do market here. I'm going to do the market price. And then if we don't find anything, then we just return none. Easy peasy. So we're going to go and iterate through one that we've seen before. So this is, I can't remember what this is. I can't remember what card this is, but you will have to go through TCG Player and work out all of this kind of stuff. Hello, random person on interweb. More than happy to make your website. Just drop me some deets on what you want. We can chat through it. Counts at your disposal. And then we're just going to print this. So TCG Player, we'll do the second one. We'll pass through product ID equals product ID. Subtype name. I don't think anyone can teach you how to jungle, my friend. If name equals mate. So we'll be able to see what card this is. It's something that's worth $15, 17, 21, and none otherwise. But what we'll do is we will look for, I'll do something really quickly. I will go grab our metadata and I'll drag it in here. I'll copy it. So this is the metadata file. This is all of our cards in here with all of the print runs and everything like that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to search for whatever Enlightened Strike was, because I think that's a good one for us to use. So this is WTR 159. So we're just going to look for WTR 159. You can do it the easy way, which will be just doing a search. 159. So I think it's like u/that/rainbow foil. So that's the SKU. TCG Player ID is 225229, and the subtype is Unlimited Edition Rainbow Foil. So we'll just look for that one. Unlimited Edition Rainbow Foil. So you can see that the low price is 150, the mid price 150, the high price is 150. So there's probably not too many sellers selling this card, and the market price is 114.24. So this is in USD, and if we do a quick calc, I think USD to, I actually don't know what USD to NZD is. NZD to USD. It's 0.68. What's the other way around? It's $1.47. So the relationship between USD and New Zealand dollar is 147. So that's 114.24 times 1.47. So that's actually 170 bucks in New Zealand dollars. That means you can 100% go off to Fab Armory, buy the card for 170, for 125 today, and sell it for 170 on TCG Player, and someone will probably buy it because that's the historic average sold price. So if you take that off, you are netting 43 bucks if you chose to perform this action. Obviously, it's not that easy. You have to factor in shipping, exchange rates, transaction fees, holding on to the card and absorbing that risk. There's tons of stuff in that space that you have to think about. But this is a simple view on how you can potentially arbitrage this market. I definitely would not recommend you go off and do something like this, because unless you know the market and you understand all the risks involved, especially around how much these cards can fluctuate in price, and all the work you have to go through with like fraud and PayPal and various transactional issues. Yeah, you can you can try high frequency trade this, but I wouldn't recommend it. That's my financial advice. Do not recommend high frequency trading for flesh and blood cards. Okay, so that is an API based scraper. We connected into TCG Player. We extracted cards and all their details, and we came out with a list of prices, including the market price, which is awesome. So I'm just going to stop this recording